Hey guys, in this video I want to share with you the lessons that I have learned from basically growing e-commerce business to over $7 million in sales. So just from Facebook advertising, you can see here, so these are the stats. We have spent $2.9 million on advertising, and we have generated $5.8 million in sales. And the rest of it was with like email and more like back-end strategies. I want to share with you the strategies and pretty much the main things that I've learned throughout this process, scaling the store. Number one thing, and that's kind of like, that's very like totally opposite, right, to where like a lot of people are. And like a lot of people treat, like, for example, Facebook advertising as some kind of like holy grail, right? They think that for instance, if you have like a certain like targeting, or if you have like a certain like CBO strategy, or if you have like a certain like framework or specific budget for your campaigns or ad sets, then they think that that is the key to performance and high profitability in advertising. And to some extent, you can impact the profitability and you can impact the things that you can with these like different like tactics, small tactics. But if you think like in the long term, for example, the businesses that you can scale to, like, for example, $6-7 million in sales, $10 million other stores that we have, then you have to think from the perspective of like, what are the biggest like impact things that I can do, right? For example, you can sit in your ads manager all day long, right, and try to fix some things, but it will not make like a huge impact, right? Like, for example, you can do like change targeting, like, and just sit and spend a lot of time in it. But this is not, if you think about it, it's not like highly impactful task, right? So eventually, and that's the goal with every project that we have in our company, eventually the goal for us with every project is to simplify, and then we can pass it to someone else in our company. Because, for example, if I'll be like sitting in my ads manager all day long, then I will not have a time to pretty much just, you know, like grow my business and then think like what other things we can do, what other things we can implement. So the key here is to simplify and streamline the advertising process in your company, whether it's Facebook ads or Pinterest ads. By the way, if you guys are interested in the waiting list for the Pinterest ads, it should be below this video. But then kind of like, if you want to kind of dial that in, then eventually you have to give out the control, right? And you have to train someone in your company to perform well at that level. And if you want to train them, then it has to be simple enough for them to follow. Because if it's too complicated, for example, if you tell them like, okay, so this time of the day, like, change the budget for this percentage, and then like this time of the day, you change the budget to this percentage, then it will be very, very difficult to follow, right? And they will not be able to achieve like consistency with their results, and it will take them a lot of time. So they will not be able to handle too many accounts, too many projects. Just keep that in mind. Think how you can simplify it. And for me, simplification basically comes to, you know, just using broader audiences on Facebook, using, for example, age, gender, country, those type of audiences, utilizing big interest audiences and letting Facebook figure it out. Not going to like to very like detailed like targeting in terms of the age, interests, or like tiny lookalikes, consolidating the ad spend so you have less running campaigns and you can have it like running for a long time without touching like too much. Also at the same time to kind of streamline the content production, because that's pretty much like number one thing. So if you think about it, like, if Facebook can find you buyers in pretty much any audience without any targeting whatsoever, then all you need to care about is like the creative part. For me personally, like, we have streamlined, we have several video editors that we work with. They're like full-time, and they're like constantly providing us with content for for the accounts that we work with, right? And the accounts that we sell our products, whether it's on Pinterest or Facebook, like, it doesn't matter. Like, so we streamline this process so we have constant flow of new content, and we have developed the framework where you have, let's say, 8 pieces of content for a specific product that you want to test. So when we decide to test a specific product, we constantly have 8 variations of the creative to test. Whereas most people have like 1, 2, maybe 3 variations, we have 8, right? So that gives us more chances to see what's working and what doesn't when we are actually testing the product. And if it's promising, we can see it quite fast. So that's number 1, right? They're just focusing on the right thing. So when you're growing your business, you have to identify what is the thing that makes like the biggest impact, right? And in many cases, that will be advertising when you're starting, right? But then you have to let it go. You have to like train someone on your team to kind of like take it from you and run it. And then that person can communicate, let's say, with your video editor, and they can source the content from them. So you might be not like involved in like running the advertising. So they need more creative. They reach out to video editor, they test it, they get feedback, and they give them feedback. They give feedback to video editor, so those understand the funnel, right? So they can make any changes or work with your tech guy to make necessary changes throughout your funnel. So that's number 1, identifying the right things to focus on, and then basically working on those things. Number 2 is building a great team, right? So if you kind of like take the points that I just mentioned, right, about like, for example, passing the advertising skills and everything to someone else on your team who can gradually, you know, take it over, so you won't be the one like sitting in your ads manager all day long and pretty much trying to get stuff done. So or for example, video editors, right? So where you take the content production to the next level, you're not sitting in a Photoshop and clicking on the ads, right? You have someone who, you know, who's doing that for you on a scale. That's another thing, right? Like finding these people. And what I have found in terms of hiring great people is that, you know, oftentimes, you know, they would already have some type of, even if they're not like in the industry, even if they're not like, haven't done exactly what you're looking them to do, but they're looking to be excellent in pretty much whatever they do, right? In their area of expertise. So for example, some of the media buyers that we have, they have been good like in other jobs that they've been doing. They've been like totally new to the advertising, but they have delivered, you know, great results in those areas. So when we start working with them, we already see that they have been like great in those areas and they have the potential to be great in this area. So constantly look for those people that are striving to be the best. Even like, you know, educational kind of academical performance is a good indicator. It's not the only performance indicator for great people to hire, but this is something that, so if someone strives to be excellent in this area, then maybe they'll strive to be excellent in the area that you want them to be in. For example, managing the advertising, be a great media buyer, or like, you know, other things that you want to train your team members on. So that's number 2. And lesson number 3 is eliminating distractions. So there's so many like moving parts, right? Like on a daily basis, there's so many like advertising messages. For example, if you're in Facebook groups, like there's so many like distracting messages. There's so many things that kind of like trying to take your attention. There's so many ads you see on a daily basis. I think it's like 300 ads that average person sees on a daily basis. So there's so many things that trying to take your attention and actually impact your thinking process. If you don't take charge, right, of kind of like where your attention goes, then let's say you see like 300 ads, right? You see 300 ads. Like over time, you'll be like exhausted because each one of those messages, each one of those ads carries like a certain message, right? And you want to consume that message, you want to understand that message. Then it will take like tremendous amount of mental energy. And humans, they only have so much mental energy. So when you wake up in the morning, you can count it like, for example, as 100, right? You have like 100 units of energy. Then let's say you wake up, you open your phone, and then like you see some ads, you open like your email, which is probably the worst thing you can do in the morning first thing. That distracts you and just like pulls your attention totally different direction. You're trying to think about those things, you're trying to fix those things. And so imagine you're doing this like every day, then you watch that ad, right? You're trying to see what they're talking about. Then other people trying to call you or trying to message you. So for me personally, I try to like just eliminate everything that could be kind of like distracting from my life. And so for example, I want to show you how my YouTube channel, how my YouTube homepage looks like, so you can just see and understand what I mean by this. So for example, this is what my YouTube screen looks like, right? Like I have no suggestions here, right? I have absolutely like no suggestions. And I mean, that might not be like for everyone, but I think that will benefit everyone to have their attention focused. And the reason I have eliminated it, there's an app called Block YouTube Feed or something like this. The reason I eliminated it because when I would just go to YouTube, right? Let's say I want to just go to my channel and see kind of, for example, see some comments and answer some comments for you guys, or, you know, stuff like that. I would see the homepage of YouTube, right? And they know like what kind of like topics are raising kind of like views and getting views and getting attention. So they would show you those views on the homepage, so just to get you in. And then you click on one video, then they're very smart to showing you suggestions for other videos that you might be likely to see. And so like one thing after another, and then like 1 hour just like this gone watching random videos that probably you wouldn't get like much attention from. If you think about the progress that you have made, probably that was mostly like from 1 or 2, 3 people that you've taken the information from and actually applied, right? So for me, I'm trying to cut the number of people I'm taking information from and only take information from people who are where I actually want to be, right? Don't take advice from people who are not like where I want to be. So that's hyper important. And then probably in terms of priority, that's probably number one, right? Before you want to grow like your company to the next level, before you want to do anything, then all you need to do is just like cut everything that's not benefiting you, benefiting your business as a first step, right? Because if you don't do that, then you simply won't have time to hire great people. You won't have time to like properly like scale your advertising and stuff like that. So these are the 3 things, guys, that I recommend you do. These are 3 things that worked for me. So basically focusing on the right stuff with your advertising. Don't obsess about things that kind of like make small impact, but only for a short period of time and cannot be scaled. Second, hiring great team members. To give you guys some tips on hiring great people and how to identify those people, even if they are from like totally new industry. And number 3 is just creating like a focus for yourself and eliminating the distractions, because that will make you a lot of money in the long term. So this is it, guys. Thank you for watching. By the way, if you're looking for help with scaling your e-commerce business, Facebook ads or Pinterest ads, then it should be linked below. You can apply for a free strategy session with our team member and we'll see how we can help you to scale your business. This is not for people who are just starting out. This is for people who already do good volume with their business, who already like 6-7 figure level and want to take it to the next level and eventually sell their business or just make it highly profitable. So this is it, guys. Thank you for watching. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next video.